Good day, family, and all praise to our Father, the Almighty Creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Yacob. I know I haven't put the prayer out for today, but the Almighty put this on me, and I've been on it since. I will get the prayer out after I'm done with this video. I've been working on my attachments video, and it's changed 4 times now. The rabbit hole called attachments or spirits or demons, excuse me, doesn't end. There are things I've done when I was wicked that tied directly into this video I'm doing now and the attachments video I've been working on. I am extremely uncomfortable making this video because of the wicked things I forced myself to forget and repent for. The Almighty Creator is forcing me to look back at them. The other reason is I'm going to show you a part of me that I've hoped I'd never have to show anyone. The old me. I just wanted to repent and bury it and leave it. This video is going to be a first. I'm going to play a video and pause it when I need to say something. If I choke on my words, I'm going to pause, gather my thoughts, and then continue talking. I have to be careful of what I say. In the video is a guy who is very deep into the occult, mainly voodoo and witchcraft. He speaks about vampirism, and if you research vampirism, it goes back way past Vlad the Impaler. It goes way past the pagans. The heathen have been practicing this in one form or another since they were put on the planet. So, the spirits he talks about in one part of the video are the same attachments in my next video. Our captors have programmed us to believe devil worship is a bunch of people dressed in all black, huddled around an altar, chanting Satan this and Satan that, while sacrificing living things. Those people doing those things are still searching. They don't know excuse me, they don't know how to get to the next level. They are doing all these things to summon spirits and become possessed, when the fact is, you don't need any of that. Hollywood programmed you to believe you need those things. It's been put on me to do this and explain things from my personal experience, to tell you something. The things this guy talks about in the video are true and are happening this very day. He talks about the same things that happened during the Roman era, the same things the Greeks did, the same things the pagans did before them, and it's all documented. The problem is our captors control what we can and can't read. There are ancient spell books out there that normal people don't have access to. Sound familiar? When I was wicked, I was actively practicing voodoo and witchcraft, similar to this guy. I didn't have to go any further because I understood. Let's start down the rabbit hole.
Okay. The unmistakable Jimmy Cassan says, being that you're a vampire, I take it you like vampire movies. What's your favorite?
I will tell you right now, you're going to be disappointed, because I don't like vampire movies. I enjoy the literature and the history. I've actually participated in vampire cults, witchcraft, voodoo. I've studied religions now for 25 years, had paranormal TV shows that were very successful. I've done voodoo rituals. I've been baptized into different religions. I spent time in a cult in Germany studying this. I don't like to watch the movies.
Well, this is much more interesting than the movie. So let's take the vampire cult, first of all, in Germany.
Yeah, well...
How does that come about?
Well, you know, because I just started to get into... Well, when you... I gotta see what I can and cannot say. There are certain things that you need to do to get in touch with certain people who take things to an extreme. And there are religious cults and religious movements and different things that you need to partake in.
To get access to somebody.
Like that, for example.
Oh, I understand.
So
Yes.
once you go through...
There's someone in our crew also,
Okay.
by the way.
Well, once you go through certain rituals to get into certain things, you are allowed access to the next level.
I see.
With vampirism, there was a big movement in the United States at one time where they had the blood drinking cults where people would actually bloodlet and people would partake in that fantasy. It became a real sexual thing. But in Europe, Eastern Bloc Europe countries, it is part of their culture, and there are underground families, people that are actually into the historical origins of vampirism, and they do some extreme types of witchcraft and rituals, and I was there for a few of them. And
You go to this out of curiosity,
Yes.
having nothing to do with furthering your character for TV or anything. This is just your own personal curiosity.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Is it danger? Were you ever in danger?
I think the weirdest I felt was my first steps in voodoo, which is voodoo. Voodoo is the French word for it.
He speaks
With a
truth.
priest from Africa, with the animal sacrifices and all that kind of stuff. There was a moment in that ceremony,
And it's more than animal sacrifices.
because when you do these rituals, you do leave yourself open. And do I believe in it? Yes, because I still suffer the effects of these kind of things. When you get into really old school witchcraft, like I spent a week in Aleister Crowley's house in Italy, and we were doing these kind of things down in Sicily, and when you cross that line into these deep religions, you do these rituals. Like one took 3 months to do the ceremony. You obviously bring into your life certain forces that you shouldn't,
And it all starts with your imagination. It all starts in your mind. It's really hard to explain. There's a part of your mind. How do I explain it? You have your You know what? I'll just keep going.
And in voodoo, when I did the ceremony, I was doing two at once. And you have a crown on your head, and the spirits, when they're floating, they see your crown, and that's the one, your guardian angel, that finds you and comes to you. When you leave that crown open and you don't finish the ceremony, the door is open, and these spirits that are so angry, whatever, they're flying around, and when they see somebody an opportunity, bad things happen to you. And
That crown that he talks about being on your head, you don't, like I said, you don't have to sacrifice anything to open yourself up. What he's talking about basically is just opening yourself up to allow the spirits or demons to come into you.
And I have the photo on my iPhone. There are two. They're still following me from Guatemala. And it's a very deep thing. And it's something I don't recommend, but it's just something that I like.
I'm not going to gloss over that there are two spirits following you from Guatemala from a ritual you didn't finish?
Yes. And it was done in a morgue. And there was a murder that happened. There was a shootout, and two bodies came in. And they were still there at the time. And they notice you.
That is not the people that are still there. What that is are fallen angels, spirits, demons, whatever. Okay, they know that when someone passes, there are going to be people there that can be influenced. So that's why they hang around. There are some people, myself included, I can't go into a hospital. Well, I can, obviously, but I hate it because I can feel the spirits that this guy here is talking about. So, let's keep going.
And there was a murder that happened. There was a shootout, and two bodies came in. And they were still there at the time. And they notice you, and they make a connection. Once you make that connection, and they're lost. And once there's that...
and that connection starts with your mind. The other part of your mind that I can't put words to.
They were still there at the time, and they notice you, and they make a connection. And once you make that connection, and they're lost, and once there's that, they're still there. They're there, and every now and then, I know they're there. They make it known that they're there.
And it was What's following you from Guatemala is definitely the spirit of the two.
Yeah.
They're not rats that you did wrong that are following you.
No.
It's the spirit of two people that were just killed when you were doing a ceremony.
Yes.
And you didn't. It was just by happenstance that you're doing the ceremony and then they come
Yeah,
out?
it was, because, we were in Guatemala investigating. We did an investigation there that's called La Fossa Común. It's like an Olympic-sized swimming pool, because there was almost a civil war in Guatemala for like 40, 50 years, and the government was just literally exterminating its people. And they would take these bodies and throw them in this big mass grave. And we went to this mass grave, and you literally look into a hole like this, and you see 50, 60, 70,000 people. And all these university students that couldn't afford to pay tuition would come and take body parts to study for their medical classes.
Okay, this right here, if you go back in history, they have been doing that here in the U.S. since we were slaves, going and robbing graves, taking them to institutions to be studied. So this isn't anything new, and you can look at the genocide that happened in Guatemala. That's happening everywhere. Okay, this is happening everywhere. This is happening here in the U.S. also.
So we followed these kids at night to see how it really worked. And in that cemetery, there's a crematorium. So, and we asked, why is the crematorium right here? And obviously it was because of that. And it had this odor, and it was just something different. And the cemetery is hundreds of years old. And Guatemala is a very violent country. So we went to the morgue to see if we could find any energies and all this kind of stuff. And as we were doing the ceremony and the ritual and closing,
finding those energies, it's opening your mind, and I'm not going to go into detail, but you can feel these energies when anywhere. When you walk in the store, you can feel them. But that feeling is a sense. It's a sense, an extra sense, I'll say. You know something's wrong, the hair raises up on the back of your neck, but you don't know. A lot of times, it's spirits.
Off the TV. And Guatemala is a very violent country, so we went to the morgue to see if we could find any energies and all this kind of stuff. And as we were doing the ceremony and the ritual and closing off the TV show in the morgue, an ambulance brought two fresh cadavers that had more than 4 minutes hadn't passed since their death.
Are your friends telling you that this? Like, I golf, okay? Like, there's other things you could do. This seems very dangerous. This seems that you could have been.
That guy doing the interview isn't stupid. This is all programming, but truth.
You killed yourself. Seems very dangerous. This seems that you could have been killed yourself.
Well,
You got two demons flying over your head now.
I left the wrestling world a long, long time ago, and I started studying religions, and I really put a lot of time into it. And my life has gone on, and I've gone into different things, and because of the television show I was doing, and to further my own knowledge and learning about our history as human beings, you come across these certain things, and if
Heathen
you really
history.
want to know, you can't ask, you have to live it, or you don't get it. So I lived it.
I'm not kidding here. Did you ever think about doing like a documentary or a TV show or
I did a TV show
about this?
Yeah, it was on TV.
Oh, okay. I clearly missed it.
But it was from Mexico City. I slept in a morgue. I slept in this. I went into tombs. You can see it all.
What about a book about the different religions and stuff? It's fascinating to me.
It's amazing, but I didn't do it to talk about it. I did it for me.
Well, that's fine, but you've done it and it's part of your life. So why not pass your knowledge on, your experiences?
Because one
It's a private thing?
No, it's a select thing. They're not very open just to letting in the casual practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
You really gotta prove that you're into it before they open the doors.
Sure.
And that proof is doing dirt and showing that you have a connection to that other realm, I'll call it.
Just that you're serious and you're not some guy who's
The greatest thing, with Thelema, was another religion with Aleister Crowley. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name.
I know they just in a casual way.
Yeah, and
good Ozzy Osbourne song also about
Well,
Mr. Crow.
he was a real guy,
Yeah.
and that whole 666 thing, it was because of him, and he was the world's evilest man at one point. He had a house in Italy that Mussolini and Hitler actually expelled him from the country because of his devil worship that was going on there. The house still exists. You can go to it. I've been there, and it's evil because he invoked certain things there. And, he would do these 6 and 8 month long rituals. He became insane because of it. And a lot of drugs were used in it and all that kind of stuff. You just can't. You just don't go, hey, you know what I mean?
No, of course not.
When you put your time in, it's a small community at certain levels. They will find you and they come to you.
Wow.
I was some guy and I was in Los Angeles doing this, and the word had gotten out. I was in a German restaurant. Nobody believes me until I showed my mom the book. I said, Mom, this guy came in and I didn't know him, and he said, this is for you. And it was a copy of the book you get when you cross the next phase into Thelema. And he just got up and walked away. And he says, you read it once, you got to rip it up and you throw it away. I haven't read it yet. I still have it because it was just a moment that blew my mind.
And that book contains ancient knowledge. That's all it boils down to. Ancient knowledge from before the pagans. It's ancient knowledge. It's a realm of mind that he obviously isn't aware of. And it is going to open that door.
So when you get into those kind of things, it's such a small community that they know to find you, to invite you.
The organization that you referenced on your ring, that was an entrance into this world? Because from
No.
what I know of that, it's not
It isn't. You'd be surprised.
religious.
It is and it isn't. It's very historical.
Yes.
And it's
Some of our presidents.
all of your presidents.
He's talking about the Masons.
This one is something that when you study and you learn things, names come up, origins of things. A lot of things stemmed from Egypt in that time, and this is something that was once you get to a certain level. I'm a very big fan of really knowing the true history of the Templars. Once I get to a certain level here, I will have access to people that take you to that level. So it's just furthering my studies.
It's just another level of witchcraft, getting to the top, getting to the bloodline.
Yeah.
Do you ever meet Anton LaVey?
No. But I know all about him.
Right.
I know about him. His daughter, his whole change. That's not my thing.
It's not his thing because he is beyond that. So, I believe I did this video because it's going to tie into and explain things in my next video. There's a realm out there that they don't teach us about. The same realm that the ancient Egyptians and other peoples were aware of and used to manifest things into the physical. Part of that realm they don't teach you about is your own imagination. It's far more than what they tell you. That's why they bombard us with their programming. These actors and musicians that they dangle in front of us are their dogs, their pawns. One thing many of them have in common is they openly admit that they had to do something to get where they are. Something abominable. Do some research on Richard Pryor and find out what he had to do. It's out there. Or Will Smith. It's out there. These actors and musicians are dogs and are treated like dogs. When you're at the top level and you go to a party, you get gifts. Some of those gifts are those actors and musicians trying to get that contract. It all depends on what their wicked minds want. They dangle these actors and musicians in front of you to get your imagination going, to get you to become idolaters, but to get you to open up. so you can be attacked, uh, to turn you from the Almighty's ways to their ancient pagan ways. They just wait for you to use your freedom of choice. Either you act on it physically or mentally, or you don't. Your choice is going to be either their way or the ways of the Most High Creator. It can't be both. But it all starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts or imaginations are an access portal to the world of attachments or spirits. Our captors didn't teach us this. When I was younger, actually wasn't younger, yeah, I was younger, there was a guy that I knew, and I grew up with him. He hung around with my eldest son, so he was around 25, and I was never shy about telling people I was evil. Um, he popped into my life when I was 25, and he asked me to teach him. And I told him I didn't want to teach him because it's something you can't just walk away from. Um, he insisted. So I told him, let me show you something before I start teaching you, and we'll go from there. So it was after I divorced my wife, my ex wife, and I was in my little apartment, and he came over, and with my imagination, I manifested a demon. And he said that the demon stood up from behind me and went almost all the way to the top of the ceiling. And he said the temperature dropped like 20 degrees. We can both see our breath. And he ran out of the apartment. Fast forward 15, 20 years. I had told my wife about that. And at that point, it was just my word. He popped back in our lives in a time when we actually needed him. And he told my queen the same story that, or no, the same fact that I just told you. She was a witness. So, your imagination is far more than what they're telling you, and you have to be careful. When our captors teach us to have a good imagination and a vivid imagination, they're doing it for a reason. They're just not telling you, excuse me, they're just not telling you the reason. It's to open you up. Your imagination is far more than what they tell you. If you go by the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, you have nothing to worry about. All praise to our Father, the Almighty Creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Yacob. Have a beautiful day, family.